This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor because land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time. To pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
fans. I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Mortgage Group. I've been teaching here at Greencastle for 13 years. I've been assistant coach also for 13 years. And I think it's important in today's world that we have young people growing up with the morals and values of faith-based education.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Thompson with Integrity Mortgage Group, and I support Garin Catholic High School because I'm good friends and business partners with assistant coach Tommy Mascari, and any chance I have to support a Christ-centered education for today's youth, I take advantage of that opportunity and support in any way I can with my time, effort, volunteering, funds, and commercials like these.
Together we soar.
Garin Catholic Sports on IndianaSRN,
where you're always in the game.
Hello and welcome to this presentation of Indiana High School Boys Basketball on IndianaSRN. Tonight you get to see the Greencastle Tiger Cubs play host to the Northview Knights. Good evening, folks. I'm Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski, ready to bring you all the commentary for tonight's game. Before we do that, have to mention our sponsors. Tonight's sponsors are Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Bertner Electric, your licensed and experienced electrician serving Central Indiana. IUPUI Sport Management, a lifetime of sports with a winning degree. Piper Logistics, 3 services, 1 logistical solution. And Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown farm equipment dealer. Well, folks, we have an exciting matchup tonight. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski. Troy, Northview has 3 guys in double-digit figures in points per game, while on the opposite side, Greencastle struggling a little bit. They sit at 3-7, while Northview's at 6-3. What does what does either team have to do to get a win tonight?
Well, the nice thing about this is tonight is you can put now the last part or the beginning part of your season behind you a little bit. But you have one team, when you talk about Northview, they're kind of heading in the right direction. When you look at Greencastle, and I've seen them twice already this year, they're still trying to find their way. I mean, they're a little bit up and down. They got some things to work on here tonight. And when you want to get your second half of the season, which we're just about there, it's a good time to start it right now once you get into the month of January. January.
Well, Northview is certainly on a roll right now. They just finished up the Wabash Valley Tournament where Drew Cook averaged over 20 points per game for the Knights, and they won the consolation ladder of that tournament. For Greencastle, they were ousted right away, really in the second round, and it felt like during that, I mean, you look back at their stats, they really never had a chance in their first game. But let's talk about Northview first. This team, when you look at them, they're great man-to-man. They can switch into that zone, and they just run Coach Michael Byram just runs a tight ship in his fifth year.
Well, let me tell you what, the Knights are a team that they've won 3 in a row, as you had mentioned, and the one thing that you now know about them is that they can win basketball games on the defensive side. You mentioned their man-to-man. They're going to get up and play tonight. Greencastle better be ready against that man-to-man because they will be up in their grill all night long, and that's one thing you think, well, maybe Northview, they got all these guys who can score like Drew Cook, who can do just about everything. But when you watch them on film defensively, they are about as good as you're going to get. It's not just that they get up and guard you. They get deflections, and they get loose balls. They will dive on the floor after loose basketballs. That's what maybe impressed me the most about Northview. And when they get steals, they will get out and they will move the basketball. So Greencastle in their defense and their offense, they're going to have to switch to defense in transition really fast tonight.
Northview also has players averaging above 40% shooting. They have at least 6 of them above that mark, which is rather impressive, at least for this midway point. As a team, they're shooting 48%, 50% from inside the arc, and 38% from outside the arc. Let's talk about Greencastle real quick, brush on them. Coached by Bryce Rector, 85-50 in his 6th year. And in the Class 3A, they are a team that really has to identify what they're going to be good at. I mean, they've struggled a lot to find that, but they've had some bright spots. They're shooting at 40%, 50% from inside the arc, 30% from outside the arc. They're 1-3 at home in this beautiful gym. What do they have to do to try to find some room to win tonight?
The big word for them is consistency. You mentioned the things that they can do well, but they don't do them well every game. They don't score well every game, though we have seen them put some points on the board. The one thing they do is they turn the ball over a little bit too much. That's another area of concern. And they don't shoot the free throw well. So when they get a chance to go to the line to get some points, they need to certainly do that. The other thing is a key tonight. They can't fall behind early in this ball game because when they do, they have a really hard time catching up.
Well, they're 57% from the line. They're going to have, if they want to get some points on the board, they're going to have to find it by being aggressive. We're going to take our first break. We'll be right back here at Greencastle on IndianaSRN. Welcome back to Greencastle High School. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski with you. We were just talking about Greencastle prepping for this game, Troy, and I have to imagine that something that they're going to have to hit on tonight is getting the ball into Cole Hutchinson's hands. The last game versus Marshall, he led all scorers with 17 points. He was 6 of 12 from the field. He also had 2 blocks, so he makes a difference on the defensive end as well. What do they have to see out of number 44 tonight?
When Hutchison plays well and he does score, you notice their games, they're in the ball game. When he doesn't, they have a tendency not to play as well. And that certainly is going to be a case. When you have a good player like Hutchison, you want to get him the basketball as much as you can. I think it's going to be another key tonight. Keep him on the floor. He's going to play a lot of minutes if they're going to win this game tonight. Because, again, as you look back at Northview, the way they play defense, listen, they've scouted him very well. They know what they've got to do against Hutchison, but he's got to be on the floor, and they've got to hit shots. And that's one thing about it. You mentioned the shooting earlier. if they can be consistent, more consistent in the shooting department, they'll go into streaks where they won't hit a bucket for 2 or 3 minutes, and that really kills them, and they cannot do that in tonight's game. So he's going to be a huge key.
Another player that definitely strikes a chord for what this team is looking for is Kiefer Wilson. He was also quarterback of the football team, kind of a do-it-all guy. He had 16 points in their last game against Marshall in their Wabash Valley tournament. He's another guy they look for on the offensive. They try to get him open with a lot of off-ball screens and just give him the ball and try to get him to the hole.
Well, you see why he's a quarterback. I mean, he's a guy that'll run the floor for you. And you look at that game against Marshall, Illinois, not only did he have 16 points, he was 7 of 10 shooting. They would love to get at least 50% every time, but they'll take that. If he can do that again tonight, they'll stay in the ballgame.
And we will hit the Northview side on our way back from our break for National Anthem. Thank you so much for being with us. You're watching boys basketball on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Welcome back to Friday Night Boys Basketball. Greencastle hosts Northview. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski. Well, let's hit on Northview before tip here, Troy. We mentioned Drew Cook. We mentioned Braden Allen. Another guy that they're going to have to look for in the starting lineup tonight, Nolan White. He facilitates a lot of offense, and not only that, he also gets guys open by setting good screens.
Watch him tonight. He's a catch-and-shoot guy. He doesn't waste a whole lot of time. Once he gets it, he'll shoot it. Very, very deadly from three-point range. Got to keep an eye on him all night long.
Starting lineups for tonight on the Northview side, Braden Allen, Drew Cook, Landon Carr, Nolan White, and Jacob Fowler. For Greencastle, Tyler Rogers, Kiefer Wilson, Anthony Adams, Evan Alexander, and Cole Hutchison. It looks like Northview already set up in their man-to-man on the baseline. That's number 12, Kiefer Wilson. He dishes it out for 3. And on that shot was Evan Alexander, no good.
Well, they got a good look, and that's important early. Now you got to hit those shots and get yourself a little confidence against, again, a Northview team that will play very, very stiff man-to-man.
Here's our guy right on cue, trying to make some offense, Nolan White. Dumps it down on the post to Jacob Fowler. Outside for 3 is Drew Cook, and that's good.
Yeah, he's another guy that'll catch and shoot, and that's what's amazing about him and White is they just do a great job of getting rid of the basketball. It's hard to defend them.
Greencastle is a team that has struggled this year trying to score early. Also 1-3 at home. See if they can turn the tide here. Not by plays like that. On the steal and run, Drew Cook.
Well, Joey, you already saw a deflection at this end, and then you get a steal. And I'd mentioned in the pregame, they get it and they go. So if you're going to turn the ball over, you're going to have to get back in transition defense.
Anthony Adams driving to the lane. It's fouled on the ground by Drew Cook. See a replay again of this. Beautiful three.
Well, look how the defense sags down, and you're really not going to be able to do that. But again, that's pretty good defense, and that's an instance you say, hey, great shot. There's not much you can do.
He kind of floated in and out there, and that's you got as a defender, you got to keep on him. On the outside. Here is Cole Hutchison.
See, they're having a hard time finding a good look right here because of the way Northview plays defense, and they switch really, really well. You cannot get by them. You're going to find a way to get a drive to the basket.
Speaking of drives to the basket, Hutchison's shot doesn't fall for him. Northview on the run again. Here's Cook. Back outside. Almost a step back. Gets it down low to Landon Carr. Off the glass. Good rebound by Kiefer Wilson.
Yeah, good defense that time by Greencastle, being patient and really forcing them to perhaps take a shot they didn't want to take.
Greencastle going to slow up here after the quick fast break.
Well, I really like the way the Knights switch. I mean, they get through, they communicate. You can hear them talking out there. Very rarely they're going to get beat to the basket.
Tiger Cub offense has yet to get on the board in the first couple of minutes here. Wilson to Rogers. No shot clock affecting this possession. Obviously, Greencastle wants to get some type of offense going here.
Well, they're trying to find a way to get it inside or drive inside. There just aren't any lanes available right at the moment, and they don't shoot as well to the outside.
Great defense. Foul on the ground.
You know, I don't mind a foul like that because I thought that was pretty good defense all the way down to the baseline. Sometimes we don't see the same angle as that outside official would. He might have got a little body on him. Sometimes the player may get handsy as well. But I'll tell you what, this Northview defense, as I said earlier, they're going to be really tough.
Nice inlet pass to Kiefer Wilson. Greencastle on the board.
You know, the one thing I like about that inbounds play, some teams will inbounds just to get it inbounds. That time you saw the Tiger Cubs inbound to score, and it worked out perfectly.
Great set play to get yourself on the board. Nolan White briefly lost it, heads out to Drew Cook, driving the lane. That one gets tipped on the putback, though. Landon Carr, couldn't find it. It'll be Greencastle ball.
Yeah, good interior defense again. Got that little block at the beginning, and once that upset the Northview offense, it certainly benefited the Tiger Cubs and did a great job on defense.
Tiger Cubs 2-3 in the Western Indiana Conference. Northview actually 1-2 in the Western Indiana Conference. They're behind Greencastle, so this is a pivotal game as far as standings go here in the early going of the basketball season. I guess you could still say we're technically in the early going.
Yeah, we're probably just a little bit short of the halfway point, so we got a lot of basketball to be played on the boys' side.
Northview stands at 6-3 overall. Greencastle at 3-7. So those two of their 3 wins in conference. That's a big deal. They obviously have shown up for a couple games.
Well, I think this is a big possession right here, as I mentioned earlier, for the Tiger Cubs. They want to fall down too early because the offensive side, they don't have that kind of firepower to come back against good teams like Northview.
Nolan White was calling for the bank to be open. It rattles off the cage. Kiefer Wilson outside.
Yeah, Northview does a good job playing right down the middle of the lane, making sure that they see the man and the ball the entire possession.
Drive into the hoop. Hutchison. Fadeaway jumper gets the rattle around.
Well, you're going to have his name called a lot tonight. We mentioned that earlier. He's going to be a big key if this Tiger Cub team's going to win.
Trying to dribble on the low block and get the baby hook. Doesn't fly. So far, Greencastle early, keeping pace. Here's Hutchison. Try to make some room. He does, and Greencastle takes the lead.
As the he goes, Tiger Cubs go, and I've seen him get active on offense twice in a row. Took it strong to the basket in both instances.
3 ball. That was around. Good rebound there by Fowler. It's going to dribble off his knee. Greencastle ball. See this bucket from Hutchison again. A little fadeaway there, Troy.
Yeah, nice touch. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's going to be the guy tonight, and I've said that time and time again. And now you've seen it. As they go, he goes, and vice versa. They really need him to perform all night long. The nice thing about this right now is that this is a low-scoring first quarter, and you're talking about a Northview team over the last 3 games averaging 70 points per game. This is really promising if you're the Tiger Cubs.
This first quarter has flown by. Not a whole lot of stoppages. Nolan White recovering that one. He's got some open room. Tries to find his teammate Braxton Sampson, who had a big game last week. Had a couple of blocks himself and 6 points.
I wouldn't mind really seeing him pull up in a mid-range jumper. That's kind of a lost art in basketball anymore. You either drive it all the way in or you shoot the 3. And I thought he really had a 13, 14-foot jump shot. He could have pulled up right there and made at least a good attempt.
Well, I've seen some college basketball coaches like Nate Oates from Alabama. He doesn't believe in the jump shot. You either take a 3 or go for a layup.
I know. That's kind of how the game's evolved these days.
There's Nolan White again after the missed shot by the Tiger Cubs.
Sometimes you can fall in love with that three-point line a little bit too much, and the adage is you live and die by the 3.
Landon Carr tries his hand at living and dying by the 3 ball.
I mean, if you're a really good shooting team from the outside, I can understand that. But if you're struggling, I think you got to get the best shot you can. If that's inside the arc, you got to take it.
Driving to the lane is Anthony Adams, and he'll be fouled on the way up. First free throw attempts. Actually, this will be on the floor.
Yeah, he's going to call it down.
Yep. Foul was on Ethan DeHart.
Yeah, if he were in the NBA, we could keep that going on and on and on and on as a continuation.
Greencastle got their first bucket to get out of their small slump on an inbound play. They set up here. There's Hutchison.
Well, I'm really surprised by this low score in this first quarter. I thought this game would be a little bit more up-tempo. That just hasn't been the case.
No. Sometimes it's just the defense that takes over.
And if I'm Greencastle, I like 5 on that left side on your scoreboard.
A bit of a tap away on the baseline. Holton Miller passes it out to his teammate Hutchison, who is wide of the rim. So empty possession for Greencastle.
And I'll tell you what, if you ask Bryce Rector right now, is that the shot you were looking for? I guarantee he said no. I think they probably wanted to play for the last shot. Some teams have a difficult time holding on to the basketball for that long, but I think they probably could have done it, at least got a look inside the 10-second mark and not give Northview another really good opportunity with time on the clock.
Foul on the floor, off the ball screen.
And that's really not a bad foul right there, because now you're going to have Northview reset their offense right here and take another look. Otherwise, you had another cutter coming down the lane. Could have been an easy 2.
That was Kiefer Wilson on the foul, his first.
Oh, that was awful close.
That was very close. Nolan White trying to get it out to Drew Cook. A lot of scramble here for a last-second shot. Nolan White does get it off, and it's wide. So after the first quarter, Greencastle leads Northview 6-5 on IndianaSRN. We'll be right back.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Welcome back to Greencastle High School. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski. Troy, low score. Drew Cook has all the points for Northview with 5, and Greencastle has just figured out how to stop him on defense.
Yeah, I'm really, really surprised by this, but as I said earlier, for Greencastle, you love that 5 on the left side of the scoreboard. They've been averaging 70 points per game as you get the opening shot there. You can stop a team that's been scoring as much as they have lately. That's a huge plus.
Drew Cook from the elbow. Yeah, out of the break. Definitely needed that one if you're Northview. On the Greencastle side, they haven't really been able to figure out how to get themselves open necessarily. They're just taking the right shots, I think, at the right time.
Well, there's been 2 there. I don't think they like that one because he was well behind the three-point line, nearly to the volleyball line. Yeah, that wasn't probably a good shot. And I relay that back to the statistics. They don't shoot that well from 3 consistently. I would have taken something a little bit easier, get this motion offense going again, and try to find something off that screen and roll into the basket.
Alexander does not get the ball to roll, but he will go to the line for 2. First free throws of the night that we've seen.
You know, Greencastle doesn't have in fact, neither one of these 2 teams have what you would consider true post players. So everybody's either a forward or a guard. But what you've seen Greencastle do in most of their possessions, other than the I think bad shots they took in those last 2 possessions, they're trying to get to the rim, and that means one of 2 things. You're either going to score or they're going to foul you if you can get a good look at the basket.
Well, they're going to certainly try to penetrate a little bit more as Alexander hits that second one. He's their leading scorer for the Tiger Cubs.
You can kind of tell neither one of these 2 teams have played since late December. I know that's not that far, but we're in the 7th day of January. And they've been practicing, and then your routine's all messed up, and you haven't been in school and all that stuff. Well, it does make a difference in sometimes how you play, and they've just both been a little sluggish here early.
Could be in part due to maybe the tournament hangover. They're both in the same Wabash Valley tournament, and it's been about 8 or so days since they played each other. Nice shot there by Ethan DeHart.
Well, and it does make a difference. When I was coaching, the one thing you hated if you were playing well is you didn't want the Christmas break. If you weren't playing well, you welcomed the time, but no matter what happens, your whole routine is completely off. You practice at a different time. You don't maybe scrimmage as much, or you do if you have a longer time off. So there's a lot of factors that go into coming back and playing early in January.
I can certainly remember when I was back in high school playing, and I didn't want – I mean, I liked the fact that we got Christmas break off, but it did feel weird having that your circadian rhythms all off, right?
Well, and you slept in, didn't you? I mean, you didn't practice at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you didn't go to class, so you're thinking, I'll just sleep a lot longer, and it does mess with you a little bit mentally and even physically.
Here's Hutchison at the top of the key. Errant pass gets away from him. That's going to be a turnover.
Now, they were looking for that backdoor cut. He probably had the defender overplaying him and just miscommunication there. It might be in this game right now the first one to 25 or so, the way this game is certainly panning out to this point.
Foul there on 40. That's Jacob Zimmerman, his first.
Well, we haven't talked about Braden Allen a whole lot other than way back in the pregame. He hasn't been very active in the offense at this point. Not that most of the other guys have been so far with only 9 points, but this guy's a shooter. If you watch him on film, he can penetrate like he did right there, but he's a really good catch-and-shoot guy. Then they need to get him rolling on offense as well.
10.5 points per game. Leads the team in assists per game with 3. And he knocks down the second one. 91% from the line, so it makes sense. probably happy to get himself on the board. So Northview out of that break are on a 6-2 run. Great interception there by Drew Cook to the hole. Actually, that is Braden Allen, excuse me. A great pick on the and a go on the fast break.
Well, he played the passing lane, and that's now 2 trips in a row of a bad pass by Greencastle in the guard position. And we've seen film before where they step out in the passing lane, they do get deflections, and again, it's all about transition. If you turn the ball over, you better hit and get back. Otherwise, Northview is going to get an easy bucket or get to the line.
And this is a guy you do not want to send to the line with 91% free throws to his name.
That's crazy. 91% at any level is huge, and you can tell he's worked on his game. And that only transitions also to how he shoots from the outside.
Timeout, Tiger Cubs will take one with them. 13-7, Northview leads.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Welcome back to Greencastle High School here on IndianaSRN. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski. Northview leads 13-7. Here on Friday night, nothing better than some hoop, that's for sure.
And it's going to be a busy January. They're going to play a lot of games, and then you get into February, things slow down a little bit more right before the tournament. But you better be well-conditioned here in the month of January.
Up top, Anthony Adams. Greencastle not really in a rush quite yet. Losing the ball briefly, that was Tyler Rogers.
When you run that little weave out front, what you're hoping is you're going to get somebody to overextend and find a driving lane that's going to open up someplace, but so far that hasn't happened. Northview's kind of playing it right at home and doing the switching and not allowing anybody to get down the lane like they were earlier.
Right, yeah, very disciplined defense out of this team in black. Hutchison gets it taken away. Braden Allen, baseball pass down the court to his buddy Drew Cook, who finishes.
You know, you look at the offense, and sometimes players get bored just passing the ball around, and the Tiger Cubs have been 3 instances where they've just gotten sloppy with the basketball, and you can't do that against the Knights because they play the passing lane so well, and they will stay patient on defense.
What a toss by Braden Allen, too. All the way down to a wide-open Drew Cook, but underneath there's a wide-open Kiefer Wilson. He'll go to the line. See this again, just pickpocketed him, really.
Well, head up, eyes up, and that's a big key. If you want to see the floor, you got to get your head up, and you know as well as I do, they played enough together that they're going to send a guy, release a guy, and if they know he's going to go, listen, just get your head up and find him.
Kiefer Wilson is just 55% from the line. Misses his first.
Yeah, that's a tough number there at 55 from the line. You want your guys shooting 70-plus if you possibly can, especially when you're talking about guys that shoot the ball you'd hope a little bit better than Wilson does.
Going up. Great rebound by Sampson. Headed out to Drew Cook. Another rebound there by Landon Carr. On the ground, scrapping for it. Cook, another 3. Short. Rebound, Allen.
You know, sometimes the rebounding, you got to find somebody and box them out of there. As you're going to see now, Northview's going to press it a little bit or kind of change the tempo of the game. But that was 3 possessions right there, and I'm pretty sure that Coach Rector is like, hey, we can't allow that to happen in a game like this because now we're down by 10.
Yeah, and it seems to me like Northview definitely had received a talking to after that first quarter from Coach Byram, because they have completely woken up.
Sometimes that's not a bad thing. You get them in the timeout and say, hey, fellas, we're on the road tonight. This is a conference game. We're behind this team. If we're going to do anything in the conference season, we got to get this game here tonight. And I think what they've done, it's happened on this side where they played more defense and really started to get up in people's grill the way we talked about they could in the pregame.
Conference play is all – but what I'm trying to say is they're neck deep in conference play coming up here, and that's going to be very busy in January.
Yeah, and if you can get a road win like this tonight, certainly get back home. You want to be undefeated at home, but get a win split on the road if you can. But this would be a big win for them coming into this one here this evening.
Underneath, Hutchison fighting underneath the basket. Finishes.
Nice thing, he never gave up on it. Even though the ball got stripped out of his hands, able to get between two defenders and put it back in.
Hutchison's got 6 of 9 points for Greencastle.
Another possession.
Nolan White, great rebound effort by Braden Allen. What a three.
Well, I was watching Bryce Rector, and I think that he felt that the guard out front traveled with the basketball, kind of did that little step there, and that's a travel. And he was up talking to the one official and wanted to know why that wasn't, because it really happened twice.
Unfortunately, got to keep playing, though, if they're not going to call it.
Yep.
To the basket. Nice aggressive move there by Anthony Adams.
That's been their best offense, when they can get penetration and get a shot near the rim.
Cook, another three, doesn't go. Rolls out. Sampson fighting for it. Ball is out of bounds. Let's see this three ball once again from Drew Cook.
Yeah, what is he, 4 feet behind the three-point line? That's a heck of a shot. But here's another possession. You have 2 possessions on this one possession here for Northview. Somehow the Tiger Cubs got to find a way to get some rebounds here. One key
Nolan
I'll
White
watch.
For 3.
I got to watch this, and I didn't mean to jump in, but watch the Tiger Cubs, see if they're actually boxing anybody out.
Hutchison with the mean block. Foul on the floor, I think in the backcourt. Yeah, to me, it doesn't seem like they are. It feels like they're not even just getting out physical. They're just not trying to box out right now.
Joe, I'm going to challenge you to watch some basketball here in the next few days, and you tell me how many people you see truly boxing out anymore. Yeah. It's more of they shoot it and you try to go get it instead of really finding your man. It's another lost art in basketball. Now, if you're a great athlete and you can out-jump everybody, that's great, but the last time I checked, not everybody's on the floor is a great athlete. That's why you find your man and get him out of there.
Up top. Holton Miller on the baseline, off the glass, doesn't fly.
See, I like that shot right there, just didn't fall for him.
Here's White outside. Braden Allen. Deep three again from Cook. And he's just going to keep letting him fire. Rebound by Hutchison. I saw a bit of a box out there.
You did. You saw all 3 guys down there find the guy, or at least find an area. And the thing is, you got to find the guy first. You'll find the basketball eventually, but you got to find that guy first. And they did it that time, and guess what? They have the basketball. This isn't rocket science, Joey. It's very easy.
I have a friend who works in rocket science. He doesn't understand a thing about basketball. Outside.
Tell him he'd probably make more money being a basketball coach if he got a higher level than that rocket science stuff.
I just keep telling him everything's not rocket science.
That's right.
All right, at the top, here's Christian Romke. Kiefer Wilson. And that's going to be a foul, I think, off.
Yeah,
got a charge there?
Got a moving screen.
A moving screen, yeah.
The one thing about it, the officials have been told this year to really emphasize moving screens. You got to stay within your body, but it's not always the guy who's doing the screening is the problem. It's the guy who's dribbling the basketball. He goes too wide, and those big guys have a tendency to follow.
Drew Cook. Down the line, here's Landon Carr at the buzzer, and that's not going to fly. Our score at the half, Northview 20, Greencastle 11. That first half brought to you by Serenity Care Services, an Indiana licensed service agency. We're the friendly, experienced team of caregivers you have been seeking. Call Angela today at 317-900-6202. Serenity Care Services, serving Indianapolis and the 5 surrounding areas. Also brought to you by IHSAA Foundation. Subscribe to our newsletter, The Advocate, at IHSAAfoundation.org. Thanks to the IHSAA Foundation for what they're doing for our student athletes. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll get Troy Darengowski's keys for both teams' second half as we return here on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
Silos in the area have become canvases for an international artist. The artist is working sun up to sundown in Greencastle, Indiana.
On News 10 First at 5, we told you community support and grant money helped make the work possible. Well, now, new for you tonight at 6, News 10's Tilly Marlatt explains the meaning behind the giant creations.
Andre Krutzu is from New York City. He is best known by his artist name, Key Detail. He has completed murals all over the world. Now he is leaving his mark on Putnam County. It's all on display at the intersection of US 231 and Veterans Memorial Highway.
8,000 square feet, and I think it's one of my biggest projects till now.
He is freehanding the entire project using spray paint.
Started off by gridding all the silos, doing some sketching with the acrylic marker, which you can kind of still see on the unfinished silo, and we've been really pleased and impressed with how quickly he's working.
Wednesday marks day 10 of the project. Organizers expect only a few more days before the project is complete. Inspiration comes from across the county.
And we asked the community to provide input on content and style. And so we had people vote on their favorite choice of murals, of artwork as examples, and then they described Putnam County in one word.
Nature is at the core of the project design. The bald eagle is a symbol of American strength. The cow is a representation of the agriculture industry throughout the county and state. The violin is a nod to the School of Music at DePaul University. The final silo will display a covered bridge and white-tailed buck. It's all a collaboration between the community and artists.
Really important to engage with local community because they are going to see these murals every day and it's going to be part of their life.
Work that will represent the area for years to come. In Greencastle, Indiana, I'm Tilly Marlatt, News 10.
That was simply stunning.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful. Well, a block party is scheduled for September the 29th to celebrate that beautiful artwork.
I can't wait to see it.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks. Shh, we're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid's solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
We're getting ready for another big night of Operation Football, and a lot of fans we know will be tuned in to see their favorite teams.
Yeah, you know, live streaming of high school sports has really taken off recently, partly because of safety concerns since the pandemic. I recently discovered Central Indiana's largest high school sports webcaster has chosen a rather unique remote location as its broadcasting headquarters. When you think Indiana high school football, you think this. But you're probably not envisioning this. So where are we sitting right now?
We're sitting in this beautiful Scottish Rite Cathedral downtown Indianapolis.
And why are we here?
This is the studios of IndianaSRN.
At the 38-yard line, and Coach, that is a big first down at this point in the game.
IndianaSRN claims to be Indiana's largest webcaster of high school sports.
I founded this in 2008.
We'll broadcast about 336 games a year.
We're everywhere.
We do more games than anybody.
Grandmas love us because they love to see their grandchildren.
If you've got internet connection, you can get us.
This season, the nearly 100-year-old Scottish Rite Cathedral downtown is the IndianaSRN broadcasting studio for 3 different local high school football games every Friday night.
Well, I'm a member here.
You told him that you'd be doing games from the Scottish Rite Cathedral. What was his response?
Wow, we can get in that building?
COVID forced IndianaSRN out of their on-location broadcasting booths last season.
We were in different locations, different arenas, different gymnasiums every week, and the ADs came to us and said, look, we got to clear the building. We're not allowed to have more than the players in here. We can't have you guys in here. So we said, well, we'll bring one guy. All we need to do is put a camera on the field along with a crowd mic, and we ship that signal back through the internet to this beautiful building. And then we add play-by-play announcer, we add a color announcer, and we produce and put graphics on.
And that remote location format actually ended up working out better.
In the old days, Carlos, we'd get a call from Covenant Christian, and we'd have to race across town to get them on the air. Now, when I have 3 different teams within 30 feet of each other, if we got a problem, I can easily solve that.
The Scottish Rite Cathedral has no specific religious affiliations. It's home to the Freemasonry fraternal organization. But the guys running IndianaSRN believe there is a higher power on their team.
It's been a blessing. This is a beautiful environment to walk into and to work into.
I mean, it's a $200 million building. I joke that we have the most expensive studios in the state of Indiana. Probably more than yours.
Go. IndianaSRN says the main advantages of broadcasting from the Scottish Rite, the size of the facility and the security of its gated parking lot. And this weekend, IndianaSRN takes their coverage to the next level. They're going to be webcasting their first ever college football game. They'll be calling that game on location, by the way, so they won't be at the Scottish Rite. But it's just one of those things where you don't think football in the Scottish Rite, but it provides them with a great facility because it's so big.
Yeah. I love that he says that grandmas love it because they can catch a game where I know my grandma would really like that one too, for sure.
I love watching their coverage because I'm a Covenant Christian fan, okay? Class A. You know, we would never get this kind of coverage, even radio coverage, but these games are televised, like the game you were showing was Heritage and Covenant Christian, and so you can watch those at home if you can't make it to the game. You'd never have that opportunity before.
You can go to WTHR.com for a link to the IndianaSRN website.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Welcome back to Greencastle High School. Our score after the break is 20-11 in favor of Northview. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Derengowski. Well, Troy, what happened in that first half for Greencastle? They led at the end of the first quarter, and then they just kind of fell out of sorts in the second.
And that's been kind of their mantra this year of the games that I have done. I mean, they will play well for a stretch, and then all of a sudden there's no offense there. And we saw them take a couple of shots in that second quarter that I thought were a little questionable that they probably love to have back. Their best success right now is when they're putting it on the floor and taking it to the basket. They're getting to the free throw line when they do, and their ability to break down the defense for Northview has been a huge key right there, but they stopped doing it. And I know that Coach Rector's like, listen, we got to do certain things if we're going to win, and that's why you run that weave, because you're hoping to get a line to the basket and some defender's going to fall asleep, and then you can get yourself to the rim. But you can't score just 5 points in a quarter, even though defensively you played well in the first quarter, 15's acceptable in the second quarter. You got to find a way to get that offense rolling again, and that's really been the problem all year long, is just consistency in putting points on the board.
The complete opposite thing happened for Northview. They were asleep, really, in the first quarter, and in the second quarter, they just got hot. Braden Allen started making shots. Drew Cook was pretty much unstoppable. He has 12 points in the first half. So they really got their guys involved, and it's showing up now on the scoreboard.
And I think it began with defense, and you kind of notice they've gotten the passing lanes a little bit more. Not that they didn't in that opening period, but it wasn't relaying to offense. You defense, offense, and they did that. You saw they were getting guys out on the break. They were beating the Tiger Cubs back. They got a steal, and when they do that, they can do the baseball pass. It really started with their defense, but then they really clamped down as well on the other side. So defense, defense, defense for Northview in that second quarter.
Second half is ready to begin, and it is brought to you by Family Source Insurance. We have you covered, auto, home, life, or business. Call Pat Cherry to get a quote today, 317-884-8046. Look to Family Source Insurance for all your needs. Foul on the floor here after the rebound.
Well, they got a good look that time, and certainly from a standpoint of hustling after the basketball, you like that from the Tiger Cubs. I didn't like the idea that they gave up such an easy shot right there, right out of the chute. How you begin a half, how you start a half is really important.
Long fast break right here. A nice play to get Anthony Adams open.
If you want to beat a defense, that's how you do it. You beat them down the floor. They can't get set in any offense whatsoever. There's no switching. You just beat them to the basket.
Normally averages 5.5 points per game. He's got his first. Baseline jumper doesn't fall. And here comes Greencastle again. It's going to be out of bounds on Northview. And the Tiger Cubs get the ball back.
Now, Coach Rector probably told his team, listen, if there's a 50-50 ball, we've got to go get it. And so far that's been the case here early in this third quarter, getting after the loose basketballs.
They seem to be hustling a little bit more pep in their step.
Well, you're certainly going to get more possessions, and that's how you're going to score more points. You have more possessions than the other team.
3 ball. That one's banked in. Off the window. I love what the PA announcer said there. On the back, here's Drew Cook. Greencastle, another turnover. So now just inching closer and closer, down 4.
Yeah, good defensive. That time holding Northview just one possession. In that time, it was a great job defensively.
Nice job standing up and blocking that shot by Landon Carr.
Yeah, see, this game is far from over because you've had 2 good possessions on offense. Your defense is playing much better.
Braden Allen doesn't go. Team almost gets his own rebound. Excuse me, his teammate almost gets his rebound, and Greencastle's up the floor again. Anthony Adams is going to try for 3. Little long. But it's going to stay with Greencastle as Northview can't handle it. Go ahead and see this 3 ball again. Brought him within 4.
Yeah, that's another one 4 feet behind the 3-point line. You know, everybody talks about banking it off the backboard. Well, that's what it's there for. So I think if you can use it and use it to your advantage, why not?
Why not? Banks open on Friday nights. People forget. Nolan White with the steal. Up the court, Drew Cook. It's going to be a foul, or a jump, excuse me.
Yeah, I had him tied up here on the wing. If not, it would have been a travel. I know he tried to do the little Euro step, but it didn't Euro at all. So,
no, he did not. It's going to be a jump and Greencastle possession. Timeout here. Give us a chance to tell you about IHSAA officials. Hey, Troy, you're an IHSAA official.
Yes, I am.
Get involved in the game. Become an IHSAA official by contacting Sandra Walter at ihsaa.org/officials today. Stay in shape and make some extra money. Training classes are starting for the spring season now. Contact Sandra Walter, 317-846-6601.
You know, in the spring that is coming up, that means baseball and softball and such, but that's outside. And when it's cold and windy and rainy outside,
inside.
I want nothing to do with it. That's why I stay with basketball.
I do love that the advertisement says, stay in shape. And makes him. And then it says training classes. Did they put you through a rigorous training class?
No, it was no rigorous at all. And that maybe they only do that for the spring season. The basketball, forget it. Those guys, we don't care whether they're in shape or not. No, I tell you what, just be nice to them. If you respect what they do, and because you're not going to play this game if you don't have officials unless you want to call your own game, and that usually isn't going to work.
That usually doesn't probably work out for, but usually pretty biased at some point.
Yeah, it wouldn't work out at all. You'd have riots every night. Because nobody would ever turn it over. There'd never be a foul, and it would be just another pickup game.
Or there'd be a lot of fouls.
Or there'd be a lot of fouls, yeah.
Speaking of fouls, that one on number 20, Nolan White.
So far, you're 547, and Northview is looking like what their offense did back in the first quarter. They just cannot get anything on the board so far. And this would be a great time if you're Greencastle, take advantage of that and try to, you're only down by 4, try to get that lead going into the fourth quarter.
Good effort play by Braden Allen to try to steal that one. Fought for with Evan Alexander.
Allen didn't like that call, but you can't go through anybody to try to get the basketball, and that's why he got the foul.
Allen's second foul.
But you really like the hustle. After you go after a basketball, sometimes it's just contact, and you just accept it and move on.
Tyler Rogers looking for an outlet. It's going to be stolen away by Carr. Up the floor, taking his Euro step, and a nice finish by Jacob Fowler.
Yeah, that's what we saw in the second quarter where they got in the passing lane, forced a turnover, and got down the floor in transition. That's what they really do best outside of shooting, which really we haven't seen the Northview team we have seen in earlier games that they can shoot much better.
Trying to drive to the rack, loses the handle on that one. Flipping it over his head, Nolan White. That was creative.
Yeah, great job knowing where your teammate is.
Braden Allen, what a pass. Bullet over to the side. That's off the backboard for the putback. Again, can he get a chance? Fowler does not make his second chance, but he will go to the line.
I'll get to Kiefer Wilson after we see this Euro step. See, look at that. Oh, look at that. I haven't seen that since Joey did that not long ago.
Yeah, when I got in the studio, that's always how I enter.
That's how he comes in with a little flair.
Gets me pumped up. Second foul there on Kiefer Wilson.
Yeah, Kiefer, by the way, did a great job getting the ball the first time and trying to get the play defense here. But the second time, he allowed the defender to reach over, and that comes back to getting your butt turned around and getting it on an offensive player, getting him out of there. That gave Northview another opportunity to have the basketball. In a game like this, where this thing's not going to get probably to 50 tonight, every possession is going to be huge.
This has been a very low-scoring game for both these squads. They usually average over 45 points a game each.
Yeah, you're looking at, in Northview's at 63, but they've been averaging 70 over their last 3 games and only 45 on the other side for Greencastle, so that's what's surprising about this game to this point.
Picked up. Anthony Adams getting it over to his teammate Alexander at the elbow. Now outside wing, Kiefer Wilson. Working against Carr. Underneath the basket, it's blocked by Carr. His second of the day.
Coach Rector up off the bench thought that that was a foul in that play too.
Carr thought about the 3, dishes it out to Nolan White. Now down the low post. Outside, winger. Drew Cook tried to get it down inside to Fowler. And on the very opportunistic layup, Landon Carr follows up his block with a nice 2.
Sometimes just, I think everybody calls it, luck that the ball falls your way. That's what you call a 50-50 ball. It's anybody's right there, and unfortunately for Greencastle, it went to Northview.
Nice spin move, and Hutchison finishes. That's tough to do, especially against 2 guys in your face.
And let me ask you this, Joey, when's the last time you called his name out?
Not for a while. He's been quiet.
It has been a while, and that's exactly it. We mentioned early in the ball game, as you see replay, if the Tiger Cubs going to win this game, that young man, number 44, is going to have a good ball game tonight.
11.4 points per game for Hutchison. He's got 10 now. You're right. He's going to have to be a big player for these guys.
You know, these two teams, by the way, they have a familiar opponent that they played in that tournament, Robinson, Illinois, and to show you that you really can't go by those games, Greencastle lost their game to Robinson 58-43, and on the other side, Northview beat Robinson by 15.
Yeah.
And yet here you only have a 7-point ball game. You just never know.
That's, I think, what I love so much about basketball, Troy, is that it's completely a game of runs. And not only that, you could have an off night shooting. Your whole team could be bad, but your team yourself, you guys are usually very good. It's interesting to watch. And I don't think many sports are like that, where you can just have an off night.
Yeah.
Just trying to be consistent.
Well, and sometimes I always said, you don't know what happened that week in practice. Maybe they didn't have a good week of practice. Maybe they broke up with their girlfriend or their boyfriend, and they just don't play as well on that night. There are just a ton of factors that go into all sports, but especially basketball.
Deep floater goes for Ethan DeHart.
I know you had that issue. You know, you had so many girlfriends, it was hard to keep track Monday through Saturday which one you had to worry about. So that was hard to leave all those girls, wasn't it?
If I had looked anything like Troy in high school, then that would have been the case.
You would have been in big trouble. That's for sure. You'd have been alone a lot.
No. All right. Driving to the hole, Anthony Adams off the backboard. Unfortunately, that layup doesn't fly. Jump step, Braden Allen takes it. And he backdoors for the layup.
That comes from, again, getting second chance opportunities. Boy, and I know that you wish you had a stat sheet tonight from the game itself like they do in college. You look at that little area that says second chance opportunities, and right now Northview's had a lot tonight.
Alexander's shot doesn't fall. Allen, spin move, almost gets the finish, but he'll go to the line. He's such an interesting player, 10.5 points per game, and he makes plays like this all the time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and again, that you had 4 white jerseys on that side where the ball came off of, and nobody could get to the basketball, and that really hurt. And then by the time your offside defender actually knew where his man was, it was too late to the basket. You know how it's easy for me to sit here and talk about this, Joy, being a former coach. I remind myself of Dick Vitale. We didn't have very many wins. I'm in the broadcast booth, and I have no hair left. So, see, Dick and I have a lot in common.
We need a lot more it's unbelievable from you. Hopefully we can get some unbelievable plays.
Yeah, I haven't quite mastered that yet. I'm not as charismatic as he is.
On the outside, Alexander, deep three. Rebound by Fowler.
Yeah, you've seen the lead get back to 10.
All of a sudden, Northview kind of climbed back a little bit quietly. I mean, it felt like we got a couple of buckets from Braden Allen, but maybe it's just because Greencastle hasn't scored as frequently as they did in the beginning of the quarter.
Yeah, Northview went forever without scoring points. Now they got 9 on the board in the quarter, but it took them forever to get the offense going.
Holden Miller a little long on his three. Allen fading away and just gets the lucky roll.
Well, that's a tough shot. You have a guy hanging all over you right there, and you're still managing to get the shot up above your shoulders and get a decent release off. That's just a great shot.
10 points for Allen. You know, this Northview squad has 8 seniors of their 12 guys, and that's very impressive to have such a strong leadership core, and they've done well. Gone 6-3 so far this season. They have a very busy January. See if they can make a run.
Now, if I'm Greencastle, I try to hold this basketball and get some points on the board and not give it back to Northview here at the end of the quarter.
Wilson was doubled. He tried to dump it to his teammate Rogers, who can't finish.
See, I think I would have. I know that was probably there, but now you give them another opportunity right here. And it's going to stay with Northview with 32 seconds. You know, you look at, again, we talked about the ups and downs that we have seen with Greencastle. They were only down by 4 just a couple of minutes ago, and now all of a sudden they're down by 12, and it just shows you they go into offensive slumps where they just kind of disappear, and there's nobody doing what you need to do to get points on the board, and that's how they end up falling down the way they do. They got to have more consistency sometime in this offense.
Yeah, it feels like they have a they have the ability, right? And we see it on the court, but they're just struggling to just keep the pedal down a little bit.
Well, names you mentioned, we talked a little bit ago about Hutchison. You hadn't called his name in a while, and there's another turnover.
Steal and pass to Braden Allen. What a finish. Braxton Sampson with the tough rugby-style rip out of that ball.
Oh, look at that screen.
Very hard screen by Kiefer Wilson. He's questioning, but, I mean, that was hard and true a foul.
Yeah, and you got to watch and see where the shoulder and the arm went, because you could see extension, and anytime you see extension on those screens, they will get you no matter what. So that was a pretty easy call.
Spoken like a true official.
Exactly.
Like Mike Pereira for basketball. Deep three. It's good. Wow, what a shot by Ethan DeHart at the buzzer. Northview has completely stayed on the brigade. 36-19 at the end of 3 here on Indiana SRN. We'll be right back.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Basketball Weekly is an in-depth look at Indiana high school basketball with Troy Darengowski, my partner to my left, and Coach Keith Myers, bloviating every Monday on IndianaSRN.org and the sports page. Guests coming up and talk about schedules and so much more, Troy. Basketball Weekly, and get to hear the dulcet tones.
Yeah, well,
your lovely voice.
He bloviates more than I do, so you can mark that down.
Thank you for teaching me that word. I'm going to have to use that a lot more.
Please do, yeah.
Braden Allen to the basket. I think he maybe got tipped there on the way up. Hutchison on the run.
Here's how you beat the defense, but, boy, you got to take care of the basketball.
Yep.
You know, I always talk so much how you begin a half and start a half, but it's also the same thing for a quarter. And Greencastle did not finish that third quarter well at all, yet Northview did. They outscored Northview. Greencastle outscored them 16-8. You're talking about a 31-13 two-quarter period now in the scoring. It's just not happening tonight for the Tiger Cubs.
What a rebound by Landon Carr after the layup attempt by Drew Cook. Yeah, it's true. I think that energy has a lot to do with basketball, especially at the high school rank. In a state like Indiana, where really, if you have a tight core, right, of your basketball team, and you have that energy to start out, eventually those hustle plays add up, and if you get more consistent, then you can get more baskets.
At one point in that third quarter, I'd mentioned to you it was 20-16. It was a 4-point lead, and there's going to be a foul, and that's a tough one there.
On Alexander there.
So it was 20-16 at one point, and it ended up going 16-3 the rest of the way. That kind of shows you how it kind of ended out there for Greencastle.
That is Evan Alexander's fourth personal foul. He's going to have to watch out as Drew Cook knocks his first free throw down. He was scoreless in that third quarter. He's got 13 now.
Well, if you're the Tiger Cubs, be careful, yet at the same time, you're going to have to take some chances on defense and try to get some turnovers on the steals. Otherwise, this thing will get out of hand the rest of the way.
Coach Bryce Rector, his sixth season. This Greencastle squad in Section 25. Along with Tri-West, Crawfordsville, Danville, Frankfort, Monrovia, and North Montgomery. It's a team that they're going to improve as the year goes on. and you never know what can happen come tournament time.
Well, the one thing, he's won 85 games, so it isn't like he doesn't know how to win. He lost so many players from his team a year ago that he's still trying to figure it out, as are the players, who's going to be the guy. And it's going to have to be this guy right here, I think, Hutchison, if they're going to succeed the rest of the way.
Hutchison, just a junior. This team has 5 seniors, so much less than Northview. Nice basket there by Alexander.
Yeah, that was a great offensive possession. We have whistles behind the play.
Yep.
But see, they're going to need more of that. I mean, you had a great cut down the lane. You had a great pass from Hutchison. You found a lane that's been the key all night. We thought about it earlier that I think somebody got a T right there.
Yep.
The magical word was said somewhere on that sideline because it came pretty quick.
And it wasn't please.
No. Can you tell us any of those magical? No, I don't do that, Joey.
Certainly can't.
But you can probably guess that. I mean, I've gotten a technical one time for just telling the referee, hey, he's standing on the free throw line because I thought it was a lane violation. And he teed me up.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was real touchy that day. He had real big rabbit ears, and that's one thing you can't do as an official.
He probably didn't go through the IHSAA officials training.
Yeah. And he wasn't
stay in shape and make some money.
Yes, that's the key. He wasn't in shape the way he should have been. Well, that's unfortunate right there because you get the technical. You're supposed to get the technical when you get the basketball. That way you still get it back, see?
Long 3-ball. DeHart. Wow. You know, a couple times Ethan DeHart has really come up in this game. He's got 10 points, and he doesn't light up the scoreboard every night. I mean, 10 points is really his average, and that's right up there with the rest of his crew, but he quietly does it. I don't think he needs all the spotlight. He just kind of makes shots quietly.
Yeah, and he's left-handed, and you know what they say about left-handers. I mean, they're very smooth in shooting, and, you know, they're generally very quiet, and they have a lot of touch on their basketball, but he has been quiet tonight, and kind of guy that, again, as you said, you'll get 10 points a game, and you really don't notice him in the box score.
Kiefer Wilson out to Alexander for 3. That one off the back iron. Rebound by Sampson. Nolan White charging ahead. And a bit of an errant pass goes past Drew Cook's arms. It'll be Greencastle basketball.
Now, they apparently wanted to set that offense up on the left side. Unfortunately, there wasn't anybody to receive the basketball. You know, but that's been kind of a rarity tonight, just one of those unforced errors that we've seen by Northview.
Floater, what a nice shot from Hutchison.
Yeah, and again, I think if you want to really get your offense going, if you can get him, I'd get him 25 shots a game if I could. I'd set everything up for him, and if he can find a teammate, great. But I'm going to let him be the leader of the offense.
There's DeHart once again. He's got 12.
There's only like 2% of the left-handers left anyway. It's kind of like red-headed people. There's only 2% left in the world, so they're very special people.
You are in rare air there, my
friend.
Aren't
I? Yes, thank you.
Hutchison again, why not? Off the front. Off the rim.
You know Bill Walton's a left-hander. You ever see him do a game on TV?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's must-see TV.
Yes. Half the time I can't figure out what he's talking about.
Or he's eating a cupcake with the candle lit. Rebound there by Hutchison.
You knew he grew up in the 70s, and that was a wild time back in the 70s.
That's what I hear. That's what my parents always said. Man, nothing like the 70s,
yeah.
Right?
You ever see his hair and his headband and everything?
Oh, yeah. I love seeing old pictures of Bill.
Yeah.
Keeps the game entertaining, that's for sure.
He does.
Well, going to the line now to shoot is Landon Carr. He's got 2 points to his name. Now in the bonus is Northview. Now he's at 3. So he's a guy who had 2 blocks in the tournament game against Robinson from Illinois, where they won 66-55, won the consolation ladder, and he also had 6 rebounds. He doesn't show up really on the stat sheet as much as some of his teammates do. But here's the thing. He's a guy who just grinds. I mean, we've seen him make plenty of plays, both on defense and offense, and he's been crashing the boards.
If players will accept the role, not everybody's going to be the superstar in your basketball team. You're not going to always be the scorer, but you got to get them to accept the things they do, and they do well. And I think what you see in Northview is just that. They got guys who can do a little bit of everything, but they also know that Cook and White, Allen are their leaders, and the guys are going to put the ball in the basket. If you get a good night, great. If not, do your job.
Nolan White down the baseline to Sampson, who's trying to get it back to Carr. I think you're right. If each of you have a role, it makes it a lot easier to conceptualize what you need to do for the game and become a well-oiled machine.
Well, and coaches appreciate that because they don't have to. I shouldn't use the word pander, but then you don't have to take care of you and worry about your ego if all you need to do is get out there and rebound, play defense, and do what we ask you to do. If you get into the scoring column, great. If not, just do what we ask.
That was a good shot off of Alexander's hands in the opposite end. Drew Cook can't find the net on that one.
See, I would have loved to have seen Hutchison right there give the crossover, come back to his right, and take that to the basket.
He's going to take this one, however, and that one's going to dribble over the top of the net out the high bounce.
I think his best game is a little more mid-range, something we've seen it earlier, take it to the basket, because I think he's a little hard to guard, and if you draw the double team, you saw what he did the last time, got the cutter down the lane. Maybe just take a little more initiative. I don't. A lot of players aren't comfortable doing that, but I think he would be.
I think this Greencastle squad is deeper than we think. Here's DeHart on the jump shot. Good rebound. Mayor Holman. And there's going to be a jump ball on the floor.
Yeah, I was going to say about Greencastle, you see flashes of what you think they can do, but doing it for, you talk about 36 minutes, a ball game, whatever the case may be, 32 minutes, you need more of what they can do well instead of spurts and then taking such a long time off, especially on the offensive end.
Hutchison on the baseline doesn't go. Nolan White. He's going to drive to the hoop, loses the handle briefly, gets it back out to his teammate DeHart, who gets a floater off. And it'll stay with the Knights.
Yeah, I think Greencastle has some pieces. I don't know if they play tomorrow. I haven't checked their schedule. You probably know better than I do. But I would love to see them come back tomorrow if they could play and use the good parts that they did tonight and try to build for their next game.
Well, they'll get a Friday-Saturday split the next 2 weeks. Looking ahead, their schedule, they play at North Putnam next Friday, and then Edgewood the next day after that. And the following weekend, they play South Vermilion, and then they're at Danville the day after that. Well, they finish out January, they play at Tri-West. So it's a tough little stretch here for them.
Well, that North Putnam game, North Putnam ended up beating Northview, so that's not going to be an easy contest for sure.
Elbow jumper is good from Anthony Adams. Nice shot.
Yeah, shoot with confidence. Come out there and ready to shoot it. You had the open shot. Did a great job knocking it down.
Sampson, the 15-footer. Doesn't go. Back out again. Nolan White's going to try. A rebound over the head of Jared Parkey. Scooting it up to Anthony Adams. Shot here by Boyd Ensley.
But they're getting shots up, and that's a real key. There was a little bit of a time there where they weren't getting any shots up at all, hardly.
Rebound by DeHart. And you're right, they were unable to get any shots because of the good defense from Northview, but at the same time, they were trying to just find their groove. DeHart is not good from there. Jacob Zimmerman on the rebound.
Well, we talked about it earlier in the ball game when they were running the weave, because the one thing they had success doing was getting down the lane, and when they did, they were able to at least get to the free throw line or get shots off. Now there's some changes in the personnel, and that makes a big difference too, and that's why you're seeing them getting a few more shots, because right now it looks like Northview's kind of cleared off their bench. But now try to find some positives right here and finish out real strong.
Here's Carson Taylor. Over to his teammate, Boyd Ensley, is going to take a three. Just a little bit off.
That's tough to do. You're going away from the basket. Your left-hander having to make that turn. That's not an easy shot. But I'll give him credit. At least he took it. And now you're just going to hold here.
Yep, DeHart is going to hold. So just looking ahead briefly at Northview's schedule. Tomorrow they play Owen Valley at home. Then the following weekend on Friday, play South Putnam. And then they host Plainfield the day after that. And then a couple more games in January. They're busy. Terre Haute North, Indian Creek, Cloverdale, Crawfordsville. But today they took care of business, came to Greencastle and defeated the Tiger Cubs 47-25. Stay tuned for our post-game show where we will name the MVP of today's game and have Troy Derengowski's recap. Our score again, 47-25. Coach Byram's squad takes the victory here in Greencastle over the Tiger Cubs. We'll be right back for our post-game show on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Welcome back to the Family Source Insurance postgame show. Family Source Insurance, we have you covered. Auto, home, life, or business. Call Pat Cherry to get a quote today. 317-884-8046. Look to Family Source Insurance for all your needs. Welcome, everyone. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Derengowski. Well, Troy, we have had ourselves a game today. It really started out where Greencastle was ahead and really handling the way Northview was trying to come at them. But then Northview just kind of let them have it. I mean, it was really sudden, right? And it just kind of came as soon as we didn't expect it. And then that third quarter, when they took a 16-3 run after Greencastle just started out hot. So how did they do it in that second half?
Boy, it was ebbs and flows, wasn't it? And it was tough sometimes to kind of figure out where the Tiger Cubs were going to be. They got back to within 4, as you'd mentioned. You're thinking, okay, give yourself a chance in the fourth quarter. Then all of a sudden it ballooned just like that, and the ups and downs just continue for Greencastle. Coach Rector, I know he's won a lot of games, and he's going to get it figured out. May not happen this year. It may have to be next year, but he's got some pieces there where he could be a real danger when the tournament rolls around. I think that'll be a big key. It just, back to that word consistency, it's going to have to be the key word for them the rest of the way. You know, at the end of the ball game, they were getting shots off left and right. They're going to have to get more of that. And holding the basketball and running through an offense is fine. You can do that to a point, but you know, players get anxious. They want to shoot the basketball. They may have to just get more shots up. And you got to call the names like what we mentioned earlier when Hutchison disappeared for a while. You can't do that. He's got to be more consistent. And Kiefer Wilson, the same thing. We've seen Wilson earlier this year get some shots off. It's 7 of 10. We mentioned in the last game they played at that tournament. They're capable of doing it, just can't take time off.
Well, they're at North Putnam next weekend, and then they play Edgewood. And for this Northview squad, they host Owen Valley tomorrow night and South Putnam. Let's stay on the Knights. The player of the game we have decided is Braden Allen for his efforts, and he was pretty quiet in the first quarter, but he came on the scene in the second quarter, had 4 assists tonight, 10 points. I mean, pretty average night for his points, right? But you could feel his difference, and you could feel that he was making a difference on the floor in a lot of different facets.
Well, go back to that second quarter, as you had mentioned, and see where it really kind of started, and that's kind of where he got things rolling, and you feed off players like that. And once he started rolling a little bit, everybody else, I think, felt more comfortable. And even though they kind of struggled a little bit at the beginning of that third quarter, they picked it up again when he started again in that third quarter, and then it kind of went from there. So I agree, Braden Allen, the guy's a great shooter, does a lot of great things on the floor, both ends of the floor, defense, offense. distributes the basketball, shoots well. Certainly worthy the player of the game.
Oh, congratulations, Braden, and to the Northview Knights for their 47-25 victory. That's going to be it from us from the Family Source Insurance postgame show and Indiana SRN. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Again, our final, Northview over Greencastle 47-25. For Troy Darengowski, for our producer Ben Wood, for our fabulous cameraman Nick Lewis, I'm Joey Lindstrom. Thank you so much for being with us, and have a great night.